Okay. So, hi everybody. I'm Leslie with LQ Writing Tutor, and this is my student Alex, with whom we worked. We started working together, and you were in 10th grade, right?
Yeah, it's been
And
a long
and
time.
now you're a sophomore at Emory, and you
Yes.
were a student at the Paideia School, and so we started working together for writing and tutoring. You were in an English class, and we started working together on essay stuff. So I'm gonna tell you like my memory of us first meeting, and then
Okay.
you share. Your first, you say like, what did you think when we first started working together and everything?
Okay.
So you go first.
Oh, I remember the first time you had this this questionnaire that you had, and you
Mm-hmm.
asked, and you tried to figure out my strengths and my weaknesses beforehand.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I
so
guess
I was
at
like doing the
first,
consult. Uh huh. Uh huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
was.
Wow.
I guess I didn't really see a point in it, but as we were writing, like a lot of the personal pieces, you were able to draw upon that and really help. And you already knew me just from that, so that helped us a lot in saving time in like the future.
Yeah.
But also, one thing we did was the first time you were a lot more personable and you actually wanted to get to know me. A lot of the tutors I had wanted to go like in and out, just like get money and leave. But I feel like you actually had it in your mind that you wanted to help me improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess there were times when I really just wanted to have it done, but every single time you had my improvement like on the forefront, and that was really important.
That's funny. She said that, but that's true. I remember the first. I think the first thing we worked on was the Odyssey. Remember, you were
Oh
studying.
yeah,
You were getting ready for a test, and I
I
think we
remember that.
started working at like 7, and we didn't stop because I remember I was like, "You got to know. You got to really get this."
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
remember
mean?
that.
And it wasn't even for a writing assignment. It was like for a test that you had or
Yeah,
a quiz
that
you
was.
had coming up.
Yeah,
and
I
and
remember.
I remember like I was like, you got to see it, Alex. And it was like our first session, and I know you were like, this woman is a nut, because I don't think I left, and I mean this isn't typical, but I don't think I left until like 11. It was
Yeah,
late when I left because I was like, you've got to get this, like, and
yeah,
I'm
no,
not gonna
that was.
leave until I feel like you really understand it, like by any means necessary. And I remember we did like all this visualization stuff where I was like, okay, well, tell me what the boat looks like. Tell me what Odysseus looks like. And you were like, it's brown. I was like, it's not enough. Tell me more. Like, give me more. Like, tell me, and
That was one thing
eventually,
you really helped me with because I guess I've this whole process throughout high school I've been trying to figure out what my learning method
mm-hmm,
was, and I
mm-hmm,
guess before I was like write stuff down a bunch and try to memorize it straight up. But
yeah,
one thing you
yeah,
had me do was imagine it, picture it, and it turned out to be a lot faster, and
mm-hmm,
I use that
mm-hmm.
method a lot now in college.
Good,
So
good.
I guess that was one thing that just really carried on and I still use today.
That's great. That's great. And so, what had you worked with other writing tutors before?
I've worked with some other ones. I guess a lot of the other ones weren't as laid back. Like one of them was like she had her office in a law firm. She didn't come to you, and then she
Mm-hmm,
just. I guess one thing she did was she was just kind of. I don't know. She knew how to write. She was a good writer, but
mm-hmm,
not so much a good. She wasn't the best teacher, I'd
mm-hmm.
say.
And so, what do you
And
think makes a good teacher then?
a good
First,
teacher. Well, I guess
or what do you think that I did well that made the teaching effective for you?
well, I don't know. You're like a teacher, but you're also like a good friend because you make the student feel comfortable. So I guess
Okay.
a lot of the teachers are like, let's get this done. Mom's paying me. Like, get this done, get it over with. But you're like laid back. But I gotta say, I don't know how you do it, but it's a very laid back attitude. But I've gotten more done with you than any other tutor. Like, as laid back as it is, it's probably twice, if not three times more efficient as other tutors.
That's good.
So I don't know. I
I
don't
know
know.
I
Not too many people do it,
did.
but you're one of those.
Oh, that's so sweet, Alex. Um, and so, what do you think? Okay, so how was it different? Like, how do I typically work in a session? You know what I mean? Like, I know. Let's say you're given an assignment. So, take me through like what we would do together and like how you felt like it was helpful to you.
Okay, so an assignment first, you'd have me read the prompt out loud or just look over it, and then we'd go over it, and then you may a lot of the stuff is like obscure from the classes. You may spark note it alongside, and once you get a good sense of it, it just kind of takes off from there. You just kind of a lot of the stuff you help me just bring up, and it's stuff that I don't know. You did this one thing called snowballing when you just like write on the page and you just like think and I say it and I type it out and then we just correct it. I don't like correct it firsthand, and that was one thing because one thing I tried to do before was perfect it the first time, and I learned that that's impossible in writing.
Yes.
And that it just saved a lot of time. Cause like I guess before I would type out a whole paper and it would be like good, but it wouldn't flow consistently. That was like staying with one main idea. So getting it all down at once was a very helpful thing.
Good. And I think too, especially because of the, Paideia was such a writing-oriented school, and then the little work we've done at Emory, because I know we don't work together as much now, but the way it's like the nature of the questions and the books you were reading and that kind of thing, we had to talk a lot about it first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we both understood it and both had a common theme. And it's like, well, just dialoguing first about the work and, like, what do you see in it? What do you know what I mean? Like really making sure you understand and that I understand too, but that we have a common understanding of like what does this all actually mean before and then looking at the question and then, really answering the question first in our own minds before we start trying to just put something on paper,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I found that to be one of the most important things in terms of writing the paper, because afterwards I really got whatever concept we were writing about very stuck in my mind. So I still remember those, and I was able to call upon those for other essays in the future. So that was very helpful.
And so how do you think that your writing work improved from, let's say, 10th to 12th grade?
That one's it definitely improved amazingly. I guess looking back now, one thing you were able to do is help me like push my work beyond what I was like. You would, I'm not sure, it's hard to describe, but you would really just help like some things I would want to say, but I wouldn't have the words or vocabulary to say it, so you would help it along. But the ideas were there, so that's one thing. But I guess like without that ability, I like reading the essays now, like I see how important each one of them was to getting me to where I am now in terms of writing. But I don't know, it's one of those qualities. You can't really like I've definitely changed like on the basic level, like better writing and better structure, better grammar. But then there's like another aspect. It's that ineffable quality that you can't really just say it. It's that writing thing, that technique or that style that really brings the writing to life. Because I guess everyone can do the grammar stuff and everyone can do the basic mechanics in that 4-paragraph or 5-paragraph essay. But I think what makes it different, I still don't know what it is, but it's this quality in you. Maybe it's like imagination or a different way of looking at things, but I feel like that was the most important part to my Emory essay, because everyone knows grammar, everyone knows how to write a 5-paragraph essay or answer a question, but it's that different perspective on life that made my difference.
You really have to be interested in life, you know what I mean? Like I enjoyed talking about like all the books that we talked about in high school. I really enjoyed it. And I think that's the difference, is when you can see how I'm enjoying it, I can help you enjoy it for itself instead of like it just being something you have to get done, then it brings a different quality to your work.
No, it definitely does.
Awesome. And so we also did a lot of SAT prep. A ton of SAT prep.
That was fun.
So, okay, so had you worked with other tutors before for writing? Because we didn't even work together for math, but had you worked with other people for reading comprehension and the writing sections?
yes, and I guess their way of doing was handing me like a Webster book or a very generic thing and being like, work these problems, do it, check the answers in the back of the SAT thing, and go back at it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't have to pay you to do this. I can do this myself. And a lot of them, I guess, they may be cheaper, but that's all they would do. They'd just like sit, watch, not explain it, nothing like that. So I think one thing you did was you really helped me with the SAT writing section because I was getting like, I remember in the beginning I was in the 400 something terrible, and by the end I was like I think 790 or 800, and then the essays I was scoring a consistent 12 on.
I
Like
remember
I was,
that because you
yeah,
started like with the essay. You started at like I don't know, like a 6 or 7 or something like that. Like on the 12 on the scale of 1 to 12, you started like a 6 or 7, and then just yeah, just
I remember
working
I was
amazing.
like, there's no way, and like amazingly everything got there.
You did it. You did it. But I do have to say, you are like one of the hardest working students I've ever encountered
Oh
in
yeah,
all my
yeah,
years of teaching. And so that, I can't, I can show you, but I can't make you do it. And you
yeah,
really, you know, wanted everything that I was telling you did everything I said to do, you did it. Everything I said to do, you did it, and so
yeah,
that you can't make that happen. And so you did
yeah.
that.
I guess it's hard work, but with like I guess my hard work got me to a 6, but that extra like from 6 to 12 was
Yeah.
like I need some help there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's you
You did
definitely
a
made a
great
difference.
job. You did a great job. And then for doing your college admissions essays, because you applied to
It
a
was
lot of schools, didn't you?
yeah, it was a lot of them.
And so, and I really enjoyed doing those essays with you.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that
that
was
was fun because it's a little bit more creative, actually a lot more creative in certain ways, and
yeah.
So what did you think of our experience writing those essays?
That was fun. I like those a lot more than the book essays because
Mm-hmm.
you get to really like talk it through. It's that the abstract ideas that
Yeah,
colleges are looking for.
yeah, yeah,
And I guess one thing like I have some abstract ideas, but you were able to help me kind of synthesize it and put it into words
yeah,
because a lot of ideas were like it was good. They were good ideas, but they were very jumbled on paper.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing that really I could really just put down with your help.
Mm-hmm. And I think and I talk about this some on my website, but I think some tutors, and you tell me if you experience this, but some tutors will, um, I actually write with you. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
I'll jump in and say, this is what this sentence needs to look like. I want you to see what it's like so that you can do it again. And we did this with academic and the college essays, the admissions essays, because sometimes if you can tell somebody how to do something, but until they actually see what it looks like,
yeah,
then
that's
you can't do it. But I think once you
yeah,
see it done in front of you, then it improves your ability to be able to do it yourself.
yeah.
And so, had you had tutors before who, because I've seen it before, with the tutors I work with, I'm like, no, you need to actually show them how to do it. It's not
Oh yeah.
cheating to show them how to do it.
Yeah, I think you're the perfect combination of kind of leading me just a tad bit past what I can do so I can grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
So every single time when I'm doing the essay, at times like, I find myself from the beginning not really knowing what's happening to the end really grasping the concept and being able to use what I've learned from that one on my next essay.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's a growing thing. I guess what I do with you is what I would have done like after my teacher had already corrected it and given me like a B or C. Like
Mm-hmm.
that process is done while it's with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's
Mm-hmm.
there, it's like already an A.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's what happens in this process. But it's a lot better because you get to step through and actually know what's going wrong versus like a just a marking and a
Mm-hmm.
bad grade from
Mm-hmm.
something they don't explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so how are you doing? Well, actually, one last question before I get to the last question, which is
Huh?
how did you think it was with us working online
Online.
versus working because since I'm going to be doing more work online with students, like how was
Yeah.
it for you when we started working more and more online? How was it for you?
I thought that was pretty cool. Like it was a
I was
lot more
surprised it
convenient.
worked as well. Like
Yeah,
it was no
it
different.
was. It may have been better in some aspects. Like I guess I like hanging out with you just to have you there. So that was like one of my favorite
Yeah, I
things.
like that too. That's the only part is you miss the physical presence of the person.
I know that's. But I guess one thing is you like, because I'm not always at school or always at home, and
Yeah.
driving to or you getting to me is very difficult. And then there's
Mhm.
traffic,
Mhm.
and then this makes it very easy because we can do like 15-minute to like 1 hour sections and
Yeah.
kind of like break it up.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I don't. This one like I can see the corrections. The corrections can be like you can really see what's happening as it goes, and then it's easier to save, so you don't like risk losing work on a laptop. Or
Mhm.
I don't know. I really like it personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. Well, so how are you doing today? Like, how do you feel like all our work over these years? Like, how do you think you're a better writer and student and thinker today?
Well, okay, so better writer. I can definitely crank out an essay a lot faster. It makes more sense. It flows a lot better than it would have. And the grammar apart from the SAT prep definitely allowed me to
Mhm. Mhm.
do it with minimal errors.
Mhm.
Um, writer. So in terms of thought, I guess before I thought kind of linearly, one thing you allowed me to do is kind of think more abstractly. So for the
Mhm.
essays, I would have a very boring theme or maybe repeat just the plot of the story. But you allowed me to see the bigger picture, like why Odysseus went on his travels, or why, I don't know, there's so many books, but why they did all this.
Mhm.
It wasn't just that surface thing, it wasn't just a journey, but it always symbolized something
Yeah.
large, a theme of life, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What
Even
was
our
the third?
most recent work, because that last essay was hard that we
That was
most
not
recently
fun.
did. But even just seeing the bigger themes in the poetry, the Wordsworth
Yeah,
poetry, and everything.
yeah,
So yeah,
that
yeah,
was very helpful.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much,
Oh, yeah.
Alex.
Thank you so much.
I love you, and we'll just keep working as you need me.
Okay, it
So,
sounds good. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye.